How's everybody doing? Alfred Flores, CEO, President of New Age Electric. So we're going to jump back into Article 310, conductors for general wiring, and we're going to talk about one specific thing in here, which would be the adjustment factors, because there is so much that's in this particular section itself where you could talk about this and have a lecture for hours on end, and I'm not going to go into that depth where the science behind it and whatnot, but let's jump into it. And remember, this is always Chicago Electrical Code 2018 edition. Let's jump into it. So in Chicago, it's a little bit different than NEC, in the case that we are not allowed to put more than 9 current carrying conductors in a single raceway. They don't like it. They don't allow it, and it's something that they're sticking to it. They're not going to change it. It's been like that for as long as I know, and probably even longer than that. But the adjustment factors, in my understanding, has not changed from NEC and to Chicago CEC. So you still have anything more than 3 current carrying conductors. You're going to have to use the table 310.15b38 to make the adjustments. I'm going to jump to the next page. If you don't know what we're talking about, 310.15b3a, adjustment factors, 4 to 6 conductors, 80%, 7 to 9, 70%. Now, this table might be different from the NEC one, but in our case, they're maxed out at 9, 70% has to be adjusted. With that being said, let's go back here now. Zoom out. Where is it at now? Give me 1 second. Let me find this. Oh, here we go. Neutral conductors. This is a good one here. You could sit here and read this and interpret it so many different ways, but we're going to talk about this. So, neutral conductor. If you don't know what a neutral conductor is, go into the definitions, read the neutral conductor, because you also have something called the grounded conductor, which people are going to argue it's the same thing. The neutral conductor is the grounded conductor. I guess in a way, if you use it in an application, it might be one or the other, but in my personal opinion, I think it's the same. It's the same thing. It's just they word it differently. The neutral conductor that carries only the unbalanced current from other conductors of the same circuit should not be required to be counted when applying the provisions of 310.15b3a. So our code itself, and I'm not too boned up on the NEC edition, but here we count the neutral conductor here in Chicago 2018 electrical code. We count the neutral conductor as a current carrying conductor. So when applying this table here, you're maxed out at 9 carrying conductors. So that's going to be, let's say if it was the 2 networks, 3 hots, and a neutral. So you're going to have 6 hots, 2 neutrals, and a ground. You're going to have, out of those 2 networks you got on there, 8 of those wires are technically going to be current carrying conductors, while your grounding wire is not. So in this case, if you're going to max out the pipe, it's going to be, 8 wires, depending if you're doing dedicated neutrals, or however the case may be. All right, so I'll jump back. Um, this I'm not gonna talk about too much because it's confusing. It really is, because it's saying the neutral conductor that carries only the unbalanced current from other conductors of the same circuit should not be required to be counted when applying the provisions of 310.15 B3A. It's a mouthful. Okay, so in my personal opinion, and this is how I see it. So if you have a device or something that let's say it's a 2-pole or 3-pole circuit, and we're going to say 2-pole, they're not going to say 3-pole, because if we go 3-pole, we're going to go into somewhere over here where it's a 3-wire now. So we'll say it's a single phase service. So we got an A, B, and we have a motor that actually has a neutral on there, a neutral wire on there. And in this case, it's only carrying the unbalanced current. In that case, then that specific third wire that's in there wouldn't have to be considered a current carrying conductor. And I know there's a fourth wire in there. It's probably the ground. So it's out of the 4 wires in there, the 2 hots and that neutral itself is not going to be considered a current carrying conductor. Now it changes. And B, so in a 3-wire circuit consisting of 2-phase conductors and the neutral conductors of a 4-wire 3-phase Y-connected system, a common conductor carries approximately the same current as the line to neutral load currents of the other conductors and shall be counted when applying the provision of 310.15 B3A. Okay, so 3-wire circuit consisting of 2-phase conductors and a neutral conductor of a 4-wire 3-phase. So this, your panel itself, this or the service is a 4-wire 3-phase A, B, and C with the neutral. So, and now in this case, the application we did before wouldn't apply to this. So now our panel itself is, we have A, B, and C. Let's say, for example, our breaker is a 2-pole breaker, 20 amp, 30 amp, whatever the case may be, and it has a neutral and a ground. So that neutral wire itself would need, in this application, would be a current carrying conductor. So you would have to apply the table here, and if you were putting multiple circuits in here besides that 20 amp 2-pole and higher, you would have to apply the adjustment factors to that. And C, on a 4-wire 3-phase Y circuit, where the major portions of the load consist of non-linear loads, harmonic currents are present in the neutral conductor. The neutral conductor shall therefore be considered current carrying conductor. There's a lot to this, and I'm not going to go behind the science of non-linear loads and harmonic currents and how it messes up the voltage, and when you mix these together, that's you get a weird voltage in there. And in that case, if you ever see something, lights are flickering because they probably put different linear loads, non-linear loads with linear loads in the same conduit, and it's messing with the voltage. In this case, that's why, in my opinion, we never put branch circuits for receptacles and stuff like that mixed with lighting, because we just don't want that kind of different voltage and current mixed together in the same conduit, because you're gonna get some adverse effects in there. But there's so much that, even though these are three small paragraphs, under 5 neutral conductors. There's so much to talk about here. And then there's more on the next page too. Let me go back up. Actually, no, that's the end of that. But then you go into 6 and then 7. There's all other requirements on here you have to adhere to. But yeah, I just would like to everybody to take in consideration, this is not NEC. This is Chicago. Chicago, if it is highlighted here, it is strictly to Chicago only, and NEC, this would be totally worded different. Now, this is not exactly copied from the NEC, NFPA books. Some stuff is worded a little bit differently, but in most cases, it is the same, minus anything that's highlighted with this gray. Now, one thing to point out, depending on how old your book is, I have one of the first editions that came out. I ordered it, and I got, man, that might have been 3 years, almost 4 years ago now. And they added this particular revision on here, and it's not really stated. They stated it's amended. Already pointed out the no more than 9 current conductor shall be permitted to be installed in a raceway. And then they added this right here, other than nipples, amended console J.4-10-T, page 1029. So this particular amendment, it was in the book already, but it's in a different location. In chapter 14E dash 9 tables, and the 14E is highlighted, and there's a table section. It's all the way back in the book, chapter 9 tables. So we're gonna go to tables here, and the very first article here. So, and I noticed they changed a lot in here too. I have not seen an updated book, so there was things that were amended that are updated on a newer edition of the book. But regardless, if you were looking, if you have an old book and you weren't aware of those factors, it's stated right here, where conduit or tubing nipples having a maximum length of not exceeding 24 inches are installed between boxes, cabinet similar closures, the nipples shall be permitted to be 60% of their total cross-sectional area, and 310.15B3A adjustment factors not need to apply for this condition. Now, it was always in here itself, but unless, like I always tell everybody, you have to read the whole book, because you're going to find a ton of information that, you know, you're going to reference something here that's found in something in the beginning of the book. So it's always important, read the book front to back, and you will find other articles that are relevant to each other, and that's it's not the problem with the book, because I know they try to cram a lot of information in each article and also make the other articles reference each other, so you know, and it almost kind of tells you that go read the whole book, or go read the whole article and then reference the other article, read that whole article, so you can understand that both articles are related, and then you're going to pick up all the code requirements for whichever particular case you're trying to reference. Again, Alfred Flores, CEO President of New Age Electric. If you haven't subscribed, please click subscribe, and any questions, comments, leave them below. Thanks for watching. See you again.